Hello kids, Shubha Mangalam. This is Hemalata at Little Scholar High School taking up class 9th Biology. Today we shall start with chapter 2, that is plant tissue, and this is our second class related to this chapter, and in our previous class, that is regarding plant tissues only, we have discussed about the how the cells are different from one place to the other place. Like we have seen whether the organisms are divided into unicellular and multicellular organisms, wherein in unicellular organisms all the activities are carried out by a single cell itself, whereas in multicellular organisms or things, like we have taken example of a plant where we have seen that the plant has to perform various functions like absorption, anchoring, photosynthesis, transpiration and all. For this, different size cells are required. So depending upon the function, the cells are also different. And we have seen that there are four types of cells, that is meristematic tissue, the vascular tissue, the ground tissue and the dermal tissue. So today we shall study in detail about all the different kinds of these tissues. Okay, so please come to page number 15. All of you refer page number 15, and we shall start with meristematic tissue. We shall start with meristematic tissue. Okay children, now when we are talking about this meristematic tissue, firstly we should know what is their structure. So whenever we look at the meristematic tissues, they are small and they are thin walled children. Okay, how are these meristematic tissues? They are small and they are thin walled. They are thin walled. Okay, then, and they have the prominent nucleus. They have the prominent nucleus and the cytoplasm also. So when, how are the meristematic tissues? Yes, meristematic tissues are small in size, they are thin walled, they have the prominent nucleus and they have the cytoplasm. And one more point to remember regarding the meristematic tissues, these are the continuously dividing cells. So the question can be, which cells are the one which are continuously dividing? Yes, it is the meristematic tissue which continuously divides. So just to sum up the characters of the meristematic cells, that is, they are small in nature, they are thin walled, they have prominent nucleus, they have cytoplasm, and these are the continuously dividing cells. Okay children, now depending upon the position of the meristematic tissue, depending upon the position of the meristematic tissue, they are divided into three categories. The meristematic tissues are divided into three types. Okay, now let us see what are they. First one is apical meristematic tissue. First one is apical meristematic tissue. Second one is lateral meristematic tissue, and the third one is intercalary meristematic tissue. So in meristematic tissues we have three types, that is apical meristematic tissue, lateral meristematic tissue and intercalary meristematic tissue. Now when we talk about these three types of tissue, why they are named so, and sometimes looking at the name of the tissue itself, we can make out their position also. Yes or no children? Now for example, apical meristematic tissue, where do you find these tissues? Yes, these tissues are found at the tips. They are found, we find this apical meristematic tissues at the tips of the plant. Now what is the role of this apical meristematic tissue? Actually they help in the growth of the plant, that is the length of the plant. So apical meristematic tissues are the one which are present at the tips of the plant, and they help to increase the length of the plant, or we can say that they help the plant to grow like lengthwise. Okay, then now let us come to lateral meristematic tissue. Whenever we talk about this lateral meristematic tissue, they are present to the sides of the plant. They are present to the sides of the plant. Okay children, and this help in the grit. They help in the grit, means that is the breadth of the plant, and this is for the length of the plant. Okay, so what are we talking about? Apical meristematic tissues are present at the tips of the plants. They help the plant to grow in the length, length or tallness, okay, length of the plant. Then whenever we are talking about the lateral meristematic tissue, they help in the growth of the girth or the breadth of the plant. Done. Now when we talk about the this lateral meristematic tissue, it is also referred as cambium. The lateral meristematic tissue is also referred as cambium. Okay children, now let us come to the third one, that is intercalary meristematic tissue. The third one is intercalary meristematic tissue. And where do you find these tissues? These tissues are present in between the layers of the other tissues. These tissues are found at we find this intercalary meristematic tissues in between the layers of the other tissues. Now what is the role of this intercalary meristematic tissue? Yes, these tissues help are the points from where the branches arises, okay, or from where the stalk of a flower arises or a leaf arises. So intercalary meristematic tissues are present in between the tissues of the in between the other tissues. Then these are the points from where the branches arises or the stalk of a flower or leaf arises. So this is very simple children. This is about the meristematic tissue. Here you need to remember the structure of the meristematic cells and how many types of meristematic cells, their location. Normally at this age or at this point of the class, looking at some of the names only, we can make out the write the definition looking at the name itself. Apical means tip, lateral means sides, intercalary means in between the cells of the other tissue. So this helps, first one helps in the growth of the plant, that is lengthwise, second one in the breadthwise, and third one helps in the point are the points from where the branches or stalk of a flower or a leaf arises. So this is about the meristematic tissue, the first tissue what we have learnt. Now let us move to the dermal tissue. Let us move to the dermal tissue. From the name itself, dermal or dermis means what? Skin. As our body is covered with skin, so that it is protecting all the internal organs and protecting us from insect bites or some external temperature or weather conditions, wind, cold, whatever it is. In the same way, plants are also being protected by the dermal tissue. What is derma or dermis means? It is nothing but skin. Okay children, now this dermal tissue is divided in again into three types. What are they? Epidermis, stomatal guard, and epidermal hair. So they are divided into epidermis, stomatal guard, and epidermal hair. Okay children, now what is this nature or what is the structure of these cells in? Yes, these cells are little thick. If you observe the thickness of these cells and these cells, when you compare them, how do you find? Yes, these are little thick in nature. Yes, so these are thin in nature. These are little thick in nature. Okay, and these are single layer children. These cells are arranged in a single layer, say celled manner, and it protects the internal organs of the cell. Now, what is the importance of this dermis? Naturally, it protects the plant from the external environment or entry of the external pathogens or disease causing agents or germs, and it helps in the form transpiration also. It helps in the process of transpiration of the plant, okay, and naturally it is protecting the internal parts of the plant. So just we'll go through what is the importance of the dermal tissue. First thing is, it is protecting the internal cells. Yes, because it is forming a protective layer. Dermal tissue is nothing but a protective layer which is protecting the other cells present inside the dermal tissues. Then what is the other function? It helps the plant in the process of transpiration, and it is also helping the plant it is also helping the plant how, like, any external agents or foreign bodies or germs or any pathogens may not enter inside the cell of the plant. Okay, so this is the importance of the dermal tissue. Now when we have discussed about, we already said that these are little thick and they are arranged in a single layer fashion, and they vary from place to place. That means depending upon the function they need to carry. And we naturally, as our body is covered with skin throughout the body, even the epidermal tissues are present throughout the plant, whether it is a leaf, whether it is a branch, whether it is a main stalk of the plant, or even the root also. So the dermal tissue forms the outer covering for the entire plant. Okay children, now these dermal tissues, we are talking about stomatal guard and epidermal layer. Yes, now you all of you know that dermal is nothing but the external layer. Now from this external layer only, that is this external layer only, you find some pore like structures. On this external epidermal layer only you find pore like structures, and these pore like structures are nothing but stomata. These pore-like structures are nothing but a stomata. Okay. Now, all of you know, you have already learned this about this in your previous classes. Yes, what is the stomata? It is a small pore-like structure which is present on the surface of the leaf, and they have the two kidney-shaped structures which we refer it as the guard cells. Yes or no children? We refer them as the guard cells here. The stomata consists of two kidney shaped structure which we refer it as guard cells, and the opening is called as stomatal aperture. Aperture is nothing but hole or an opening. Okay, so it has an opening, that is stomatal aperture. Okay children, all of you know that stomata plays an important role in the process of exchange of gases. Yes, even plants also need gases for their survival or for the process of photosynthesis. Yes or no? Wherein the carbon dioxide enters the plant and oxygen is coming given out by the plant. So how does this occur? Yes, it occurs through this stomata only, because there is an aperture which is making the gas to move in and out, and it also helps in the process of transpiration. Now we know that transpiration is nothing but the loss of the water by the plant. The water is absorbed by the roots, all of you know that, and it is transported to the entire plant body. Whatever the water which is required by the plant, it keeps within the body, and the extra water is given out to the external environment in through a process called as transpiration. So this stomata helps in the process of exchange of gases and even the transpiration. And where are we finding this stomata? Yes, we are finding this stomata on the epidermal cells only, and we are referring, which we refer it as small pus, nothing but a stomata. Okay children, on the, now we shall move to the root hair. Now what are these root hair? Root hairs are also nothing but like these are also the, we have the main root. Okay, from this we have different kinds of root hairs arising. From where this is arising? It is again arising from the epidermis only. Epidermis only. So we have the root hair. They have this from the epidermis only. We find the, this is in the leaves. Yes or no children? The stomata we find in the leaves. So in the epidermal cells only we find the stomata, and these are the epidermal cells only, but these epidermal cells we find in the root. Naturally when we are talking about the root hair, it refers to the root system. Yes or no? So root hairs are also present, and in some desert plants, this epidermal layers is little thick and waxy. In desert plants, these epidermal tissues are little thick and waxy. Why it is thick and waxy in the desert plants? Yes, because all of us know that in desert areas the rainfall is very less, very scanty rainfall we have, and there is lot of scarcity of water only. So whenever the water is available, the plants have adapted themselves to this particular environment and they store the water inside their body. And we also know this thick and waxy layers of the epidermis protects the plant from losing out the water. Yes or no, children? Because they need to store the water, as we just now said that there is a very scanty rainfall. So this thick and waxy epidermal layer makes the desert plants not to lose more of water. And we have seen most of the plants what we find in deserts, they have thorns or the spikes, we say. Yes or no? Thorns or spikes. Why? Because they also help in, this is also one of the adaptation what the plants have undergone, so that they can save the water or protect the water. Now, in some of the big trees, children, okay, we have many huge trees like mango, neem, banyan tree and all. Here in these huge trees or big trees, what happens is the epidermal tissue takes many layers. Okay, the epidermal tissue in these huge plants or big plants, it takes many layers, and this many layers is nothing what we refer it as trunk. You all of you know the trunk is a huge body of the base of the tree. So how it is forming? It is nothing but it is the multiplication or it is a multiplied layer of the dermal tissue which is forming as the trunk. Okay, children. Now you might have seen about or learnt about few plants like acacia and neem. You have heard the name at least, that acacia and neem. In this, what happens is some of the sticky substance is given out by the plants. Okay, children. Some of the sticky substance you might have observed, or anytime you might accidentally or some due to some occasions you might have touched it also. Okay, so in some of the few plants, a kind of jelly or sticky substance is given out by the plants, and we refer this as latex. Okay, again in that we have different categories that you will come to know in other classes. Okay, but what are the sticky substances? These sticky substances are nothing but these are the ones which are given out by the plants. Okay, and these plants, it can be these sticky substance what we find, it can be the excretory material of the plant. Okay, it can be the excretory material of the plant, or it can be some of the secretions children. Excretion is different, secretion is different. Excretion is nothing but it is the method of giving out the waste from the body. Okay, that is excretion. Secretion is the one which is like hormones and all, which is important for the plant to do some of the activities. Okay, so it can be the excretion or it can be the secretion. And sometimes what happen, these dermal tissues are also may plays a major role in protecting the plant from any external damages and all. So this sticky substance can also be given out by the plants where there is some crack or there is some accident happens. Accidents in the sense means the part of the stem or leaf is broken down due to some or the other reason. So if this sticky substance is nothing but it can be given out by the plants because there is some crack or some breakage in the plant tissues, or it can be the excretory product, or it can be the secretions also. So this is about two types of tissues, that is meristematic tissue and dermal tissue. Very easy to understand children and remember also. Just go through all these points. And here what I want to say one thing is on page number 15, as I said, some activities are given children. If you come to your textbook, some activities are given Rio leaf or dicot stem tiers of tissue. These activities are nothing but taking a small section of a stem or a root and just looking it under the microscope without with the help of the microscope, we are observing the internal structure of the tissue. So these activities are just to understand the structure of the cells, arrangement of the cells, we can say. So this is about today's class. We shall stop here, and in next class we shall go to some other tissues. Okay children, until then please go through the textbook. Thank you.